Awesome. Hey, everybody. We're here to play Part-Time Gods. This is a game where we play regular people who have been thrust into godhood. However, usually being a god does not pay the bills. So the group that we have here are composed of Mina, the goddess of light, who is also a temp worker. We have Wade, who is a tech millionaire and also the god of cold. We have Gabriel, who is a tattoo artist and the god of travelers, and Haley, who is a YouTube influencer and the goddess of ravens. So the way that this game works mechanically, just for most of your roles, you'll see on the second page of your character sheet, you'll see skills and manifestations. Whenever you want to attempt a check, you will say what it is that you're trying to do, and then we will pick two corresponding skills, combine them, and roll those. So for instance, if you were trying to sneak through the forest, that would be a stealth plus survival roll. And then you would take that many dice. So I'm looking at Gabriel's sheet right here. So stealth is 1, survival is 0. So he's really bad at trying to hide in a forest. So you would roll 1 die, and it says there on the sheet there, 7, 8, and 9 counts as 1 success, 10 counts as 2, and then you just tell me how many successes you've gotten. A lot of the time, most things will be, I'll say it up front, like, oh, it's 1 or it's 2, that I need. If I don't say it up front, it's because I'm going to kind of gauge what you get off of whatever you roll, and, there's not really one set difficulty for that thing. So that is pretty much it. So if another example that I like to use, if you wanted to fix a computer, that would be crafts and tech. So a lot of the time too, I'll throw out a combo, and then if you have an idea of a different skill that maybe you want to, swap one out for, just pitch it at me, and then if it's cool, then yeah. Or I can say something to the effect of, yeah, but if you use that skill, I'm going to up the difficulty by 1, so it'll be slightly harder, to use that skill instead of another skill. So, but this game is very much about negotiation. The one under skills is manifestations. Now, manifestations are your divine skills. That's how you manipulate what you are the god of. So Aegis is anytime you want to use it for defensive or protection purposes. Beckon is anytime you want to banish or summon, that sort of thing. Journey is anytime you're going to use it for travel. That could be flight, that could be teleportation, it could be kind of whatever comes up in your mind, as long as it falls under whatever you're the god of. Minion is whenever you want to affect living beings with your ability to kind of charm them or bestow powers upon them, things like that. There's puppetry, which can be fine manipulation. A lot of the time, if you have a tangible, if you have a tangible dominion, sometimes it's like telekinesis, or you can direct, if it's, for instance, for Gabriel, if it's travelers, you can direct them where you want them to go, where you want them to travel, for instance. That would be puppetry. Oracle is sensory things, so you can sense things nearby, do, sense through time, all kinds of stuff. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Ruin is anytime you want to deal direct damage. That's what ruin is for. So that's fireballs down the street. That's ruin. That doesn't mean that using another type of manifestation won't also deal damage. But if the intent is to deal damage, then it's ruin. Shaping is shaping, like, I'm the god of frogs, I turned myself into a frog, like that's shaping. And then there's soul, which is kind of manipulating incorporeal aspects of whatever you're the god of. So that's like summoning spirits, casting illusions, things like that. So that's where soul comes in. So everybody has some levels in some manifestations. If you have a 0 in that manifestation, you cannot use your dominion for that thing. As opposed to skills, where even if you have a 0 in it, you can still try it. So for manifestations, that just means that you don't even know how to do that thing yet. And usually it'll be, can I do this? And I'll say yes or no. If you are on the mark and it directly relates to what you're the god of, then that's fine. If it's tangential, then you might take a penalty because it kind of vaguely applies to what you're the god of, that sort of thing. And like I said, it does have to go with what you're the god of. So if we have the god of cold, he can't use Oracle to sense ravens. Like he could be like, how cold is it? And where's the freezing temperatures and, stuff like that. But, you would obviously need the goddess of ravens to check out the raven stuff. A really good example that I have for that is where it becomes tangential is the god of dogs. If the god of dogs and the god of animals both wanted to summon a dog, it would be easier for the god of dogs to do it than the god of animals. Because if you just cast a simple summon, the god of animals is going to bring any animal nearby, whereas the god of dogs will do a dog. So that's an example. All right, I'll stop on that stuff now. To the left part, you'll see your blessings and your curses. Your blessings are cool, like special abilities that you have, which is great. A lot of the time, it's an additional die when you're using a specialty of some sort. Sometimes it will be an actual ability, such as Haley's Disrupt the System. So that is an actual thing. It's not just a bonus. It's you have to do something in order to affect it. So there's that. Curses. So in the middle of the table, if we were live at our table, you would have a thing in the middle of the table called the Pantheon Pool. And it starts, I didn't spell that right. And it starts with the number of players. So right now you have 4 dice in the Pantheon Pool, and it can go up to 10. These are dice that anybody can take and use to aid in using effects or to add to rolls, things like that. As long as everyone else at the table is okay with it. So that's why it's the Pantheon Pool. You guys are a Pantheon. So everybody has to be in agreement. So if you're like, I really want to deck this guy, can I use these Pantheon dice? Bren might be like, I don't want you to deck that guy. So no. If anybody at the table says no, I don't count. I want you to use them. They do not, like storing them up and like hoarding them isn't necessarily all that great because in a regular game, you would build them up and anything you didn't use goes away and you start at 4 at the next session anyway. So it's use it because it's there. And curses is that's one way how you can replenish the Pantheon pool is by activating curses within a scene. This is essentially introducing complications into a scene for fun effect. So it's fun. So for instance, if I took, let me see, here's Mina. If we took Mina's whatever, so you could be like, all right, we're going to split up and we're going to do this and this and this and this. And Mina, you're going to go and you're going to pull that very important lever. Erica could be like, I'm going to activate whatever because she got bored on the way and decided not to do it. And hey, then we have to deal with those consequences, but you will have added some dice to the Pantheon pool. So, so it's a fun part of the game. There's a lot of give and take with that. The game is also, let me see, select restaurants. So Wade has 2-8. So also the game is predicated on a balance of your free time and your wealth. Wade has lots of wealth and not a lot of free time. Haley's in the middle, like has average for both. And then both Gabriel and Mina have lots of free time and almost no money. So that's how that works. The starving artist and temp worker. So go fig. Let me put those values here as well in the chat. And then we have Haley, who has 4, 5. So I'm going to put these values here and I'll keep track of them in the chat as well, just so that it's just easier for everybody. At the table, you would just have chips. I would just give you chips for both of those. Okay. So that's that. So you'll spend free time to get into a scene. Essentially, if you want to act and be active in a scene, you have to spend free time. And we will deal with what happens when you run out of free time when that comes up. Wealth needs to be spent on various things. You can also spend it to travel and whatnot. All characters have 3 fragments. You'll see those boxes on your sheet. A fragment can be spent for 3 successes on a skill, not 3 additional dice. It's 3 successes, which most of the time means you instantly will succeed, or 2 successes if you're using divine powers. Or some abilities require you to spend a fragment, so you read those things. Sometimes you have to spend it. Truths are things that are just 100% true about your character. Sometimes those require fragments as well, but they're just things about your character. The goddess of light can always see, so she cannot be blinded by anything. So like that's just a thing. And there are mechanics behind that, but when you're making your character, you can literally just make stuff up and be like, I always do this. Cool. That's a thing that you always do. So one of my favorite examples is Orion never misses a shot with a bow and arrow. Like if even if I roll no successes, you're still getting hit. I'm still going to deal 1 point of damage, like, because it's going to hit you because I'm Orion, because he doesn't miss. All right, so then everybody's got truths. Some of the characters have worshipers, some of them have relics, some of them have the other word. What's the other word? And I'm blanking on it. Vassals, yes. So some of you have vassals. Everyone has bonds. The special thing about bonds is bonds are the mortal things that kind of keep you grounded in your mortal life. So for Wade, he has his business, his office. He has a server farm, which is actually where he hangs out more, being the god of cold and whatnot. And he's got Cynthia, who works for the Order of Mescanet. I think we're going to leave theologies on the table, unless you guys have specific questions about those. We'll leave those on the table. And health, and so physical damage and mental damage are tracked separately. We'll deal with that later. And then at the bottom of the sheet, you have your initiative, strength, and movement. So for the things like for your bonds, your vassals, and your worshipers, you'll see that they have boxes just like anything. And that is, you can use them so you can strain your relationship with them to make them go do something for you. So if at any point you're like, oh, I want to send my worshipers out to do this, then you can do that by straining that relationship. I think that's everything. Do you guys have any questions? I got through that pretty quickly, actually. No questions?
So my vassal, it's a big
Yes.
dog.
Yes.
Is it always there? Or do I like summon it?
You would say whether you want it to be in a scene with you.
Okay.
And literally it can just hang out for for free. You can just say like, Calyx there, and he'll just be like there. But the moment that you want to direct him and tell him to do things, then you have to strain the relationship.
Checkbox. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise he's just hanging out. So
big dog. Okay.
He just and he usually when I run this, he can cloak himself and look kind of like a golden retriever, but he's actually like a giant dire wolf. So he's actually a big thing. Okay, so the adventure that I'm going to run this evening, if nobody has any questions, is going to be called Fear Itself. Oh, Jonathan, you have a question.
Yeah. What happens if we fully strain the relationship? Like if we check off all the boxes?
If you fully strain the relationship and do not heal it before straining it again, it will drop by a level. Okay. So instead of having 3 boxes, it'll drop down to 2. If you do that to the point where it goes down and it's just 0 levels, then you have destroyed that relationship entirely. And there's a lot of like emotional consequences to that, called failings. For instance, Haley begins play with a failing. She has lots of hatred, and that allows her to deal extra damage, which is great, but like she can't control her temper sometimes. So yeah, and that's a lot of those things are a consequence of you cutting your moral life out of your existence in pursuit of godhood, essentially. Cool? That's a sufficient answer? Okay, cool. All right. All right. So tell me, what is Wade doing at 1:30 a.m. on a Saturday?
Sleeping.
Sleeping?
Yeah.
I think that sounds about right, actually. All right. So
it's a long day at the office. Farming Dogecoin.
Of course,
in my server room.
I still don't actually. I have not looked into that. I have no clue how that stuff works.
I think the ship sailed. I'm not sure either.
All right, so you are exhausted. What is Haley doing 1:30 a.m. on a Saturday?
Sorry, struggled to find the unmute. Haley she's probably, it's a Saturday.
So
Honestly,
it's 1:30 on Saturday, so like you're up from Friday, but it's late.
probably honestly out, trying to
Okay.
be like at a club, I would guess.
Okay.
Um,
At a club.
yeah,
Love
meeting some
it.
fans.
I love it. What do you think Gabriel is doing at 1:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning?
I'm gonna assume probably hanging out with Samantha and working on a new piece of art.
Okay. So he's like up, he's doing like an all-nighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. How is Sam helping you with that?
I don't know. She's probably just sleeping in another room while he's doing some nice art. Maybe using her as inspiration. Who knows?
Ooh, I like that. I like that. And what do you think Mina's doing at 1:30 a.m. on a Saturday?
She is working a temp job at the Citadel Casino.
So
she's
you're at the
working
Citadel.
tonight.
Nice. So you're most of the time she's kind of like the chip. She's like the chip girl who kind of walks around and can exchange your money for chips and hands out the chips and stuff, and then you go cash them out. That's usually what she does. If not, then sometimes she just serves drinks. Nothing super important. Like it's always just walk around with a tray of some sort. And there you go. However, oh, actually, hold on. I have to roll randomly. Oh, that's right. I have a die roller for this. Die roller. I use the Google die roller, which actually works pretty good if it's not completely just decimating the group. The last game I ran, it was just like every time there was an important roll that they needed to make, I was rolling great against them. So 10-2. So let me see what's at 10-2. Okay, so 10-2 at the point on the map. So the last page of the group info PDF that I gave you is the territory map. That is a not to scale, but essentially like a vague idea of where things are in relation to other things in the city that you live in. So for instance, if Wade is sleeping, he might be sleeping in his office, or he might be sleeping at a server farm, or he might be, we could roll randomly to see if he's sleeping at somebody else's house or whatever. And essentially that's where you would be. And then we can use that as to know how long it kind of takes for you to get to one place or another. The fun thing about the map is it really, that's where a lot of the free time comes in, because if you're on this side of the map and something's happening on this side of the map, it takes longer to get there. And sometimes you don't have time to actually get there before something bad happens, which is the fun part of the game. So that's where, so at point 10-2 on the map, and we have determined that you are at the Citadel Casino, which is at 9-5. Mina, Wade, do you think that you are sleeping? Where do you think you're sleeping?
Do I have a house? Do I live somewhere? Oh, I'm muted.
No, you're not muted. I heard you.
Oh shit.
Uh,
Yeah,
keep
do I
track of
live
that.
somewhere or do I live in my office?
The way that bonds work in this game are that the ones on the map are the ones that are super duper important to the character.
Okay.
What this means is that your house isn't that important to you. But if you want to like pick a point on the map and be like, but I sleep there,
Okay.
it won't grant you any abilities or anything.
Okay. Okay.
So where do you think if you sleep at your house, where do you think your house is?
All of his stuff is kind of just seems to be like in a square. So,
Yeah.
well, this one has, so what is, to finish the square, 6, 8? What is that?
6-8. Tony's not in the
That's
game.
Cali
So
Park.
yeah, we're gonna replace Cali Park with your house.
All right. It's my penthouse apartment.
Which makes sense. Oh, of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Okay, so and Gabriel's probably working on art at lizard ink,
Yep.
and that is 6-9. Okay. And Haley's out at the club, so let's see where the club is. I'm gonna roll randomly to see where on the map that club, because your friend told you like this is the club you want to be at. And it is at point 83, which is like way down on the map, sadly. Actually, no, it goes 8-3. No, then it's not way down on the map. It's actually not far from where shit's about to go down. I'm using my R rating right away. Shit's about to go down. Okay, so anyway, so I love this. So Wade, let me see what actually happens here. Okay, so each of you sense a loud boom coming from the general area of the map where where the 10-2, so north of you or east of you or whatever, in that general direction from you. You hear this kind of loud boom. You also feel in that moment an intrusion on your divine territory, because when other divine creatures cross into your divine territory, you can sense that as the god of that territory, obviously. So not only was there a giant explosion, but also if you're not even close enough to feel the explosion, which more than likely, I would probably say Gabriel's probably the only one who doesn't hear the explosion, but it was pretty loud. But all of you sense the intrusion to it. So yeah, because everybody has a spark. So anything that has a spark, you can feel it. And if you go outside to kind of see what's going on, if you are stirred from your sleep, Wade, you'll look out of your window and whatnot. You'll see basically a pillar of like black smoke and red flickering lights coming from that general direction. So there's that. It is loud enough to echo to pretty much, oh, actually, so everybody did hear it. It says here right now. It's loud enough to echo to all points on the entire territory grid. So yeah. So what is everybody going to do?
Well, so question.
Sure.
Do the other, so do the people I work for at the Citadel, do they know who I am?
You are Mina, the chip girl.
Okay, so they don't know that I am goddess of light.
So the thing about this game is if you go out and you like proselytize and go like, I am the light, and and all that stuff, essentially that brings a lot of bad things towards you. A lot of the time gods are a pantheon because they happen to live in the same city and they don't want to fight each other. So you four might not even get along all that well, but you're four gods, you live relatively near each other, and you've agreed to defend each other if bad stuff happens. I believe, for instance, like almost nobody in the group likes Wade, I think, except for Mina. I think Mina likes Wade, and like that's it. So
Have my dog.
She likes Gabriel. She is in awe of his artistic ability.
Yes. But Mina and Wade, they kind of geek out over tech. That's kind of their connection.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So the regular people don't know that you're a god. And it's it's better that that doesn't happen. Because the gods of today are not the gods of old. They're not like these giant towering, beings. Like you got like this much power. So
Okay.
So I assume you're going to have to try and get off of work, I assume.
Yeah, so I'm going to can I be doing drinks tonight?
Yeah, let's say you're doing drinks.
Okay. So while I'm at the bar, get this, trying to get an order, I'm gonna have this feeling, and I am going to start like dry heaving a little bit maybe, and like I need to go home or I'm gonna puke all over all of this stuff.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So I'm looking at your skills. So what I would make you do here is I would have you do a perform, which is what you're doing, plus deception, which would net you 2 dice for that.
And they're tens, right? So two
You roll
d10s.
2d10s, correct.
Okay.
And a 7, 8, 9 is 1 success. 10 equals 2 successes.
Okay, I got a 5 and a 6.
So that would be no successes. So here's how you can augment that roll if you want to. 1, Pantheon dice. You can say, oh, do you guys mind if I take a die or two? Great. Then they can say yes. If you spend free time, for instance, like essentially you're taking extra time to do the thing, then you can get 2 additional dice per free time that you spend. The other option would be to spend a fragment, which obviously would get you 3 successes without even a thought.
So I'm thinking that I'm really far away from where this is feeling. So I'm going to go ahead and just use a fragment
Okay,
because I need to get out of here.
nice. Okay, so mark off one of those fragments. And with 3 successes, they're like, oh, please go. You look sick. No, please go. You did an amazing job. You used your like divine power of light to make yourself like sunken, darkened, like you removed the light from your body and you just look like deathly. Like deathly ill. They're like, please get off of the floor because seriously, you're going to scare away all the clientele. All right, cool. So you're on your way then.
Yes.
And if I go to the map here, you were here. Oh, you're actually pretty close actually. At 995. Yeah. So you actually can just move there and you're only going to end up losing 1 free time to get there because you're actually not that far. So you're good.
Okay.
All right, cool. What is Haley doing?
Haley hears this and knows that something's up and is pissed. Like, I was just trying to go out, have a fucking drink, get to meet some of my fans, you know, whatever. But I apparently have to do everything on my own. So I am gonna just lean into my loner curse and just go off straight towards it. Doing this on my own. Fuck everyone else. Maybe they'll show up, maybe they won't, but whatever.
Okay, so it just I like that you're just jumping right into the curses. Not everybody does, and I love it. As a reminder, curses are never positive. So by saying, like, if you just said, I'm going there, cool. If you say there, I'm activating the loner curse, that means that you're going to get there first. And I'm just going to say it right now. You're getting there before everybody else, and it will result in something bad. So just so you know. Okay, cool. As long as everybody's okay with it. All right. Well, then, Haley, there's that. And you activated, let me see, gain 1 Pantheon die. Wait. Oh, Wade also has loner. I was reading his loner. Gain 1 Pantheon die when you break down. Oh, wait, no. Ooh, no, that's just wrong. It's not actually loner on his sheet. I just did not spell that, or I didn't change the name of that one. When you go off alone and step into trouble. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go. All right, cool. So we got that. So you're definitely showing up first, and you are within, like, you were like 2 spaces away. So it was like nothing for you. You were the closest. So it actually makes sense thematically also for you to show up first. Okay. What about Wade? You're kind of just looking out of your window, you know, sipping like a brandy or something.
I say that I would probably, before I drag my ass out there, I assume I have a lot of tech stuff, so I'll pull up some computer screens and see if I can see security cameras or like do some research if people are there to kind of get an eye for what's actually happening at this site where this explosion happened.
Okay.
I assume Wade Tech has its own satellite, right?
It does. However, you don't work for it. Is your company called Wade Tech? I didn't
It is
remember
now.
that. It is now. Well, as far as I remember, you kind of work for a subsidiary of your father's company.
Oh, okay.
That actually means you don't technically have like access. You're not like Bruce Wayne or anything. Bruce Wayne is a billionaire. You're just a millionaire. Like,
Okay.
You're just a several hundred millionaire, but you're no.
So less billionaire playboy and more like my father will hear about this. Okay.
Well, I mean, you could definitely
starting to get a
that
feel
too.
for it.
You could try
yeah.
a tech roll. You could try a tech roll to maybe, you know, tap into some computers and stuff there. I think you are not close to like be able to tell exactly what happened, but even just looking out of your window, like there's, you know, it's definitely it's a crap show down there. Like you can definitely see there's ambulances and stuff and police
Okay.
all heading in that direction. Like it's a big deal whatever's happening there. Did you want to spend a little bit of time doing a tech roll?
So the adding the time spends a free time point, right? But it adds another dice to the pool.
It adds
Am I
2
correct?
dice if you do that.
Okay.
So I'm going to say with this, because you're trying to get information very quickly. Actually, no, because it's a hacking roll. Hacking roll is usually tech plus stealth, or
Okay.
tech plus deception. One of those two. No, it's tech plus stealth because you're trying
Okay.
to sneakily go in there. So yeah, so it'd be tech plus stealth. That gives you 3 dice if you wanted to make kind of a hacking roll. I almost wanted to make it speed because you're trying to do it like right now before things happen, but I think stealth still works the best.
All right. So then, and then you, so I'm not taking my time. I'm trying to do this quite fast. So I'll just use the 3 dice. I have a single success.
1 success. I don't think that's enough to hack into like the city's computers.
Probably not. Yeah.
I think I would probably need probably 3 most likely for
Okay.
something like that. Like that would be, I would assume, kind of difficult to do just offhand, you know, without really sitting there and like, let me use all my systems and stuff to break down security and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, well, do you just want to head in that direction then?
Yeah. I'll take the elevator. I'll go 300 floors down. It'll
Okay.
take me a while.
300 floors down. Okay, that's a really tall building.
It's like the space elevator that it was.
Ryan, what about Gabriel?
I can hear it.
Yeah, the explosion was loud enough. It's like
Yeah.
Sam even woke up. She's like, "What was that?"
Okay. Is it just like one story? I'm assuming like studio, or is there like can I look out of a window to like in the direction I heard the noise coming from?
If I recall, Lizard Inc., like Gabriel lives, I believe it's 1 story, but he lives in like the apartment in the back of it.
Okay.
So the front of the house is the actual parlor, but you live in the back.
Okay. Would I be able to like look up at the sky and like kind of see some like smoke and like some stuff?
Yeah, I would say that you could see some vague smoke because you're pretty low, you're pretty far. I could say you could see some vague smoke off in the distance. But again, the twinge in your spark that told you something else just invaded, that's the thing that's really kind of catching your attention.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna start moving toward. Yeah.
Okay, no, go for it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm just gonna start moving towards the direction of the sound and yeah, the smoke.
Okay, cool. So you're the only one who is like a substantial amount of like area away. Everybody else was within 4 spaces and did not need to spend additional free time to get there. However, the way that the map works is you can move 4 spaces for free. After that, you can move 4 more spaces for a free time or 3 more spaces for a wealth. You are 9 spaces away from where this is happening. So basically you have to make up for 5 more spaces. Now you could do with that, you could do 1 wealth and 1 free time, 2 wealth or 2 free time. So you can split it or go in either direction.
Okay. 12, 1 free time.
Okay, so am I reading the map wrong? Because Lizard Inc. is 6'9".
Yes.
So that looks like super close to 10-2 to me. Or am I?
You might be doing 210. It's not that far from 210, but 10-2, we go horizontal, then we go across, then down.
X and Y.
Then yes, I was doing it wrong.
Gotcha. So Ryan, how did you want to spend that?
It was 2 free time, 1 wealth.
So it's two of one. It's two of either or one of each.
Oh, I'll just do 2 free time. I got free time to spare.
You do, but I just want to make sure.
Okay.
And then everybody is obviously then also spending the 1 free time to enter the scene. So that's our new numbers. Wade with 1-8, Gabriel 3-2, Mina 6-2, 3-5. You can see how quickly this can kind of spiral to zeros here.
Wait,
Okay.
question. How did I lose one?
To get into the scene.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
because that's every time you're like, I want to be there, then you have to
You're in
pay
it.
1 to be there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right, cool. So
So do
ahead.
I not? I should lose one then too. Mina should.
I
she
believe
should
you
be at
did.
5.
You were
I
at
was
6-2.
6.
No, you're right. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I guess I did not take away from you. I took away from everybody else. There you go. So 5-2 now.
Okay.
All right. All right. So first responders, that will be Haley. You get there first. And I'm actually going to say that so when you get there, you kind of get there before like a lot of the like emergency vehicles and stuff get there. And you get there and there's just fire just kind of everywhere. Lots of overturned cars, raging fires, lots of people injured. And you hear somebody go like, look out, and it's going to be another explosion right there, right as you're approaching the area. So I am going to need an athletics and speed roll from you. And we're going to see if you can avoid this giant explosion for being the first to get there and be the loner type. That does give you 5 Pantheon pool though. You are muted if we're supposed to be hearing you right now.
Sorry, I was pulling up an online roller instead of my one little D10.
Okay.
It was a lot. I was like, let me just make this slightly easier. I was mumbling.
Like the Google
myself.
Dice roller. It's like tangible.
I got 3 successes.
3 successes. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you just got it, because if you had gotten less than that, it was going to be bad stuff happening. You are going to take, however, you're not going to take any damage, but you are going to get you're going to write down in do you even have that on your sheet? Yes, in the conditions section, or just jot it down on a note or whatever. I'm going to give you what is it called? God, now I'm forgetting the term. Let me go over here and check it out here, because I got conditions in the thing. Taking damage, conditions. None of these have it. I'm going to give you of course they don't. I'm going to give you a sensory deprivation for hearing. I'm going to give you and make it level 2. That means it's going to exist this scene and the next scene. And that means that you'll take a penalty anytime hearing is involved. Because you avoided the shockwave of the damage, but your ears are ringing. All right, cool. Well, very cool. Well, then everybody else shows up as well then. When that happened, your ears were ringing, you kind of like walked away and tried to find a place where you could like recover a bit. But there are still, fires raging in the area that could endanger a lot of people. There is no fire engine there, so there are no normal means of putting out any of the flames. So that's something that if somebody wanted to do, they could do that upon arriving at the scene. There is a man trapped with a sideways car on his legs. So somebody might want to help that gentleman, or maybe he's a dick. I don't know, but he's an innocent. Might want to help him. And then there are other injured people in the area that also require medical attention, things like broken arms, lacerations, burns, and the like. Would any of you like to respond to any of that? I'm allowing you guys to be first responders here, if that's in your characters.
Mina, with her need to interact with mortals, would probably go to one of the injured people I don't know how strong she is. She might be really freaking buff and can,
What's
lift
your
this
strength?
car.
It says it at the bottom right.
Oh, 3. Is that good? Probably not.
It's not the best. like it can, like, a natural person at the height of their physicality can go up to 10. Like, so a 3 is like average strength.
So yeah, she's probably not gonna go try and lift a car.
Probably not. I would assume not.
But she will go over to some of just the injured people and help how she can.
Okay. What does everybody else want to do?
Haley is gonna take this as an opportunity to build her platform. She has a relic that's her special phone. It's an enchanted cell phone that can levitate in order to get the best shot. So I'm just gonna kind of like send that floating zoomed in so no one can actually see where it's hiding. And just start like go helping people and talking, oh my God, are you okay?
Oh, I love it.
What happened?
I
That's what
love
Haley's
it.
doing.
No, that's amazing. All right, so both of you two are kind of helping generally some of the injured people in the area. All right. What about Gabriel? What are you thinking?
I think he's gonna go over and help people heal, and he has a ability. Gabriel can heal with a touch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that, healing people
Okay.
with touch.
All right, cool. So you're gonna all right, so you're gonna do that, and Wade.
So the building's still on fire, right?
There's lots of fires kind of around in the area.
Okay, I would like to use my powers of the north winds to cool things down and try and put out some of these fires.
I love it. All right, so let's do that roll first. Let me go to Wade real quick. Let's see. So if I'm looking here, you have beckon, you have puppetry. That's probably you could do shaping as well. That could work.
So ruin is only damage, right? Like I couldn't use it to make
ruin
this
is
stronger?
ruin is if the intent is damage.
Okay.
So if you're like, I'm going to freeze this thing to kill it, then that's ruin.
Okay.
Probably for this, since you're trying to banish and I would say probably beckon.
Okay.
Most likely, you're trying to summon cold in the area to make the flames go down.
Okay.
And we'll say, let me see, what skill would that be? Let's say discipline and beckon. I like that.
So that gives me 5. All right. Those are 0 successes.
Wow. Okay.
Oh wait, I forgot one. It's still no.
Well, you have those same 3 options. You can ask for Pantheon dice, you can spend free time, or you can spend fragments if you want to ensure your success.
I mean, we're trying to put out these fires. Is everyone cool if I get the Pantheon dice, I just roll it?
You just
or
roll
it
them.
guarantees success?
No, you just roll them. No, the
Okay.
fragment's the only thing that guarantees success.
Okay. I'll do the fragment. Yeah, I'll guarantee this.
So spend that fragment. That will get you 2 successes. I'll say that's enough to put out like half of the fire that's there. You're able to definitely quell it at least a little bit. All right, so that's good. For the others who are helping, let's see. So medicine and knowledge. Wait, nobody here has equipment, so it's going to be medicine and discipline. Sorry. Oh, actually, except for Gabriel, you can make your roll for your healing hands, which is different. It's okay. So Haley can make a perform plus medicine because literally you're not actually trying to help anybody. You're just trying to pretend like you're helping somebody. And then tell me how many successes you get.
So if I rolled 2 7s, I got 2 successes.
That would be
correct?
2 successes. Correct.
Yes, I got 2 successes.
Okay. 4 successes to pretend to help. I love it.
I'll share my screen. I got 4. A 10,
Well,
8,
no,
and 8.
I am a trustful GM. Again, the way that this automatic die roller works, sometimes you also have to trust that sometimes I'll get 11 successes, and it sucks, but it happens. Go ahead, Ryan.
3 successes. I got a 10.
Nice. All right, so you got 3 successes. I'm gonna say you're able to heal 3 people immediately. Like normally that would be 3 damage you healed on a single target, but we're talking generally here, so you're just going like healing hands, healing hands, healing hands. That does cost you a fragment though, so don't forget to spend that. Okay, and then Haley also pretends to do it, but is not necessarily helping all that much. All right, cool. Well, you guys were first responders. You guys show up. You were able to quell some of the terribleness of the scene, which is nice of you. Nice of most of you. And but then obviously the fire truck and the police and all that stuff, they start showing up. They actually do start kind of setting the tape and trying to get people to push. So they do kind of get you like, thank you for your help, but you need to move back. We need to move back. Very authoritative. And unless one of you like really wants to like get up in these, police officers and emergency people's faces, I assume that you're just kind of moving back with the rest of the other people who have come to like gawk at the crazy mess that has happened out here. But now that you are there, if you want to make a perception and intuition roll, you can kind of get an even better kind of bearing of what maybe happened here or whatnot, because in the moment you were very much about helping the people. Now you can kind of take a step back and you can kind of evaluate the scene. So perception and intuition is the role that I'm looking for.
Could my doggo help me with his powerful nose?
If you want him to, all you have to do is strain that relationship, and he'll add 2 dice to your roll because he's a level 2.
Oh, the poor baby.
That does mean that if you have a level 5 vassal and you strain the relationship, he's adding 5 dice to something that he's helping with. Like, it's really awesome. So. And
then the strain relationships, after we go to work, it resets that, or is that the whole session?
No. Going to work is a completely different thing. We'll deal with that when we get to it, though.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have the doggo help me.
Okay.
So
Alec. I like him.
It was intuition and what?
Perception.
Perception? Okay. I got a critical success. And then for doggo. So just the critical success. These dice are terrible.
What is a critical success?
That's the 10, right?
Oh, so 7, 8, and 9 is 1 success. 10 is 2 successes.
Okay, so then just 2 successes.
So you got 2 successes. Okay, that's fair. Ryan, what did Gabriel get?
4 successes.
4 Wow. Okay.
Yeah, rolling aggressively well.
Share.
What were you gonna say, Erica?
I rolled 4 10s, so I got 8.
No, you did not. That's crazy.
10,
4 dice
10,
with 4
10.
10s. No, I believe you.
I rolled 6. I rolled 6 dice.
Oh, okay, but 4 of them. Gosh, that's crazy.
Yes.
All right. Well, so how you add to the Pantheon pool? I forgot to actually say. You add to the Pantheon pool by activating curses, rolling very poorly, or rolling very well. So you have now an additional die in the Pantheon pool for that amazing roll that you just did there. So who got 2 successes? You got 2 successes. So with 2 successes, who got 0? It was Haley that got 0.
Look, I'd like to just say Haley's reviewing the footage that she got. She's busy starting editing, so
yeah,
I don't know what you
filter.
expect of her. Everyone else is here. They can step up. I already got here first.
I mean, technically, I probably should have given you the penalty anyway for like you're not even hearing things right and stuff. So essentially, with no successes, the chaos in the scene is just simply too much for you, and you're not able to focus, or you are focused on something else. You're already doing the editing. With 2 successes, you are able to notice that there are vehicles turned over in the area that are in position. You notice that the vehicles turned over in the area were in those positions before the explosion. The blast marks, because the blast marks on the newly exposed side of the vehicles. And you can also see other overturned vehicles outside of the blast zone. So there's turned over vehicles that don't even have any scorch marks on them. So it wasn't the explosion that caused these cars. All right. Now, those of you who got 1,000,000 successes, or 4, it only goes up to 4, but essentially the two of you are going to get the same information. Essentially, you glimpse for a split second what appears to be an inhumanly large red eye fading into the nearby shadows that was watching you or was watching the area. If you kind of are like, what the hell? And you go check that area, you find nothing there, but you feel a cold shiver down your spine.
Sorry.
No, hey, and both of you need to make a discipline plus empathy roll and tell me how many successes you receive. One success? Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no.
And it's 7 or above, right?
7, 8, 9 is 1, 10 is 2.
Okay, 1.
All right. Very cool. But yes, like essentially a sense of dread, just kind of like, like when you went to go check out the eye, and it's kind of left you a little shaken. However, with 4, you also are going to get the information from 3. With what's that?
Oh, I was just saying, it doesn't scare me
Why doesn't it scare you?
because Mina fears nothing.
Oh, oh, darn it. I always forget that she has that. Well, then that you are not scared then. Awesome. Let me make a note here. I like that. That's why it's cool when you make a character and you can, I mean, obviously I made these characters, but you might be like, I don't want my character to ever be scared. And that works sometimes. One of the cool things, and then I'll get back to it, but one of the other characters, the goddess of beauty, what is her name again? Oh, Tony. Tony's awesome. Hers is, her skin is always so perfect, and it makes her immune to bleeding, bruising, and scarring. So just, and those are conditions that pop up all the time in the game, but it just makes sense for the goddess of beauty. Like, you can't mess with this. This is going to be beautiful. But in Mina's case, she is light, so she is not afraid of the dark. So she is never scared. All right, cool. So, but also Gabriel and Mina, because you guys rolled 4, you're also going to get the information at 2 that Wade also got, but you're also going to get the information at 3 successes, which is that you notice that that there's a building near the point of explosion with an extremely large hole in it, as if something might have crashed into it, possibly thrown. The bricks there have no scorch marks, like something shielded them from the impact maybe, but it would have had to have been something super large, like large enough to create that hole, and there's nothing there now. You can only assume that it had something to do with that giant red glowing eye. I mean, it's probably, I guess, is what I'll say as the GM. I'm not going to say that it is, I'm not going to say that it's not, you know. So there's that. However, near the explosion point, where the explosion actually happened, there are 2 individuals, a man and a woman. They are lying there unconscious. Let me see. And you kind of, like, you immediately, you're not able to get close to them because the EMTs found them before you did. However, you see that the EMTs are loading them on gurneys into separate ambulances, and they're probably going to go to the hospital. If one of you could make real quick a perception and speed roll, or anybody can make it. I just need somebody who gets 2 successes. Can just let me know if you got it.
I got 3 successes.
You got 3? Okay.
Yeah.
If you got 3, I'm going to say that you noticed that there were 2 handguns near them that have been collected by they were being collected by the cops as their bodies. So like you saw it as they were kind of getting it. But you also noticed that the metal on those guns were warped and partially melted. All right.
I have a question.
Go for it.
What does Wade or any of us know about the things that were mentioned in the backstory, the outsiders? Do we know about them at all? Or is that just meta knowledge that we've never encountered this at all?
No, I mean, you definitely know about outsiders.
Okay.
I mean, especially Wade, because you hang out with one. But outsiders are essentially all like elves, dwarves, Mananangal, Jinkininki. I love those a lot. Kappas. You know, essentially anything that's not a god, but is also has a divine spark within it. Those are essentially called outsiders, Minotaur, stuff like that. So you definitely know that they exist. A lot of the time, gods might not know if they live in the city. A lot of the time because they don't like to deal with the gods because the gods,
I saw that.
The gods think they own everything. So, and they're just like, look, I'm just trying to live my life here. So, so you definitely know that there are outsiders there. You might not know every type or anything, but you definitely would know that there are outsiders that exist there. And let me see here. Yeah, yeah. Yes, so that's what happens. That's what you see. But you did roll fast enough to be able to see the guns. So that was an important last little note. They are being loaded onto the ambulance. They obviously have something to do with all of the craziness that just occurred. So you can obviously follow them to the hospital if you wanted to do that, or if like one of you wanted to like talk your way onto like I'm his brother, like whatever, like you could do that too, like whatever you wanted to do.
I'll give that a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seem to be very deceptive.
That is kind of your thing.
So yeah, I'll well, I didn't actually see these people, right? I only got the 2.
You saw the people.
Oh, okay.
You just didn't catch the detail with the guns.
Okay. Yeah, I'll like strut on up to one of these ambulances and say, I'm getting on board. This is one of my employees here. I need to make sure they're safe. Okay.
Obviously, due to kind of the nature of the scene, you can tell that they're a little suspicious. They are also being they're being put into 2 different ambulances and stuff. There is like a police officer that's going to be riding with each of them because it does appear that they're being treated like they might be potential suspects in what happened. So if you want to do that, make an influence and deception roll, which is actually, I believe, a pretty darn good roll for him. So
yeah.
Like Wade would be the one to do that.
So I have deception 4 and influence 3. Nice.
Yeah, so that's like 7 dice without any modifications. That's what I'm saying. So
there is a 10 and an 8. So 3 successes.
That is 3. 3 was exactly what you needed, actually.
Nice.
You were able to talk your way onto an ambulance. Remember, there are 2 by pretending to be like a family member, or you said like you're his boss. So you can definitely do that. Which one do you ride on?
Describe the 2 people for me one more time.
At this point, one was a man, one was a woman. That's all you know without getting closer to them.
The guy.
Got it. Okay. No, that's good. That's good. All right. So you're gonna ride with the guy. Let me see. So if you're looking at the guy, just to kind of give you a little bit more info, make a medicine and knowledge roll.
Okay.
This would be for you to be able to kind of look at the body. He remains quiet and unconscious the whole time. He's not dead, but his vitals are okay and whatnot, but he's just very much unconscious, excuse me.
Okay. So that's a 7 and a 9.
A 7 and a 9. So that's 2 successes.
Yeah, 2.
I do need 3 for this one if you want the information.
Can I
but it's
learn? Do I know that before I fail?
Well, I'm just letting you know. Like,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I would say like, oh, you didn't make it, so you need another success. So
I'll
free
do the
time,
Fates
Pantheon
compliance
dice,
thing.
you know, what's that?
I'll do Fates compliance. I'll take a damage because I demand perfection in all things I do.
Oh,
I'll
nice.
reroll this failure. Oh, it's a 9.
There you go. Fates compliance in action.
So
I
I
love
took
it.
a damage.
So yeah, so you, and the way you take damage, you can take it to either health or psyche, whichever one you want.
It stressed me out to my psyche.
Right. Like if you take it to psyche, you're just like, oh, this is so stressful. By looking at his body, you can see that there are lots of self-inflicted wounds on his body. And the reason why I made you roll is because you might just see wounds. They are you can tell that they are self-inflicted. There aren't any attempts to wake him up do fail automatically, even by divine means. I say that in the write-up here. But yeah, so but you do notice his body has a lot of self-inflicted wounds.
Cuts, burns, bruises.
Like cuts.
Okay, cuts.
Let me see. More than likely cuts. Cuts. I would say cuts and burns. Let's split the difference.
Okay.
It's both.
Okay.
Probably mostly burns. All right, we'll go with that. I'll stop elaborating more. All right, so the rest of you guys, I assume, are just going to go to wherever the hospital is. And let's see where the hospital is. I'm going to roll randomly. So the way that the map works is that the only important static things are the things that you guys put on the board. So that, you know, the point of 10-2 being the explosion, if I roll 10-2 again later on, it can be the Walmart. Like, it doesn't matter because it's not a super important thing to your guys' territory and whatnot. So I roll randomly for stuff. So 3-3 is where the hospital will be. So let's see where we end up there. So if we start at 10-2, we go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it is 7 spaces. So you can move 4 for free, which means you're going to have to spend not only the free time to get into the next scene, but also either an additional wealth or free time in order to travel that additional distance, except for Wade. Wade won't have to do that. He talked himself onto the ambulance. The ambulance moves very fast. So you are not traveling on your own accord. So you do not have to do that. You are just spending the 1 free time.
Okay.
How is everybody else going to spend your points? So it's either 1 wealth or 1 additional free time to get into the scene.
I'll do an additional free time.
Additional free time for Mina.
Yeah, free time.
Free time as well for Game.
I'll do well. I'll get an Uber XL.
And do that's essentially what it is. Exactly.
For myself, no one else can come.
So if you see there, we now have Wade at 0-8, Gabriel 1-2, Mina 3-2, Haley 2-1. So not 2-1. You only spent 2. I'm sorry, 2. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's 2-4. Excuse me. I was subtracting 1 and just put 1 instead.
Wait, I think I have 3 free time because I used 2 to get there to 4.
Yeah. So everybody's spending 1 to get into the scene, and then you just
Oh.
spent an additional 1 as well for the additional travel that was required.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why you spent 2 to get into the next scene.
Okay.
All right. So that's where everybody is. We're agreed. Those numbers look okay. All right, cool. Now we are at point 3-3 on the map. We are at the hospital. So seeing as we are an hour in, I'm going to describe the scene, and I'm going to, instead of asking you, what do you do? I'm just going to throw out a bunch of options and see which ones you guys want to bite at. Normally I would be like, I'd let you meander around and do whatever you felt like. So the hospital is even more chaotic than the explosion site, filling quickly with the victims from the terrible event and combining that with normal early Saturday morning injuries in the ER. The staff is keeping their cool, but could be overwhelmed soon if this keeps up. So when the 2 ambulances arrive, the staff puts them into separate emergency waiting rooms with police escorts posted at each of their doors. Wade is, of course, allowed in, like, so you're allowed to kind of back to the area, but you've also been told to please don't leave the premises, because as soon as we have a detective will be showing up to probably interview you, since you did state that you knew the people involved. So please don't leave the building. We'll have somebody come and talk with you later. So yeah, there you go. That's where we're at. So with all the commotion, no one's really paying that close attention to like random people coming into the hospital, is because everybody's kind of crazy right now. So if you had, well, if you were like doctors and stuff, it would be much easier. We had, that's definitely not you guys. Definitely not the tattoo artist, the temp worker, and the influencer. You guys are you could be like the movie Disorderlies if you guys tried. But there are a few options on how you can gather some information about the two trespassing people. And I forgot, Wade, when you got close, because nobody else got close, when you got close to the guy in the ambulance, he was a god. Gods can kind of sense each other when they get close, kind of like Highlanders. So like immortals from the Highlander universe, they're not actually all Highlanders. So you can talk to some of the nurses. You can eavesdrop on the police, which would probably be the easiest for Wade to do, because you're kind of set up there. So you can talk to nurses, you can eavesdrop on the police, you could swipe medical reports. So you could also do that. You could try to break into or sneak into the hospital rooms. There's lots of options there, and lots of options meaning those 4 options that are actually written here. Each of them will get you different information. Some of it overlaps, but there's different things you can learn from different parts.
And we're restricted to those 4 options right now?
Those are the 4 that are written in the adventure.
But we can...
but you can make up your own too, yeah, if you want.
Okay. So can I start a group chat with all of us? Because I assume we all know each other at this point.
Yeah, you guys are a pantheon. You just respond to the one that already exists.
So I just want to ask Wade, what do you know? And I'm assuming they would tell me that they know this person's a god and what room they're in.
Yeah.
Do we know if the emergency rooms have windows?
I'm going to say the emergency rooms do not have windows. I've never been in one that did.
Okay.
Like there's windows on the outside of the building, but usually emergency rooms, like you go in and then it's like several hallways of like draped off areas. Usually no windows.
Okay.
So my mom was a nurse, so like I've been to like tons of hospitals, so I know them very vividly. So Erica, go ahead.
Well, when I was like, when you were saying what would you want to do, I was thinking like trying to hack into a computer to see what kind of information there was.
Okay.
Because that's kind of my thing. Ish.
Okay.
And if it's chaotic, I mean, maybe there's a computer that's free that I can see.
Okay. I'm fine with that. What I'll probably file that one under the swiping a medical report part of the adventure here, and then I'll just give you successes based on that and that information.
Okay.
Going back to Haley, did you need a window for what you wanted to do, or?
No, the window idea didn't work out, but I came up with another idea.
Okay.
Do you want me to say what I'm gonna do?
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm gonna come in. I know where the other person is, and I'm gonna walk up to the cop who's guarding the door where the woman is.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna say, "Oh my God, I was at the scene. I was helping her. You have to let me in. I need to know she's okay." And I am gonna be mean about it and be like, "I'm an influencer. I was helping her. You have to let me in." And I'm gonna tap into my blessing of ferocity, which is gonna give me +1 to intimidating, for influence.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. So I guess what that would end up being would be an influence and deception roll plus your bonus for ferocity.
It's a 3, so 6. Is the door open?
Oh no, the door's closed.
So is there a window to it?
I'm gonna say No,
No windows. Okay.
no,
Okay.
no. They don't believe these are Geth. This is a Geth hospital. For anybody who plays Mass Effect, that's a funny joke if you play Mass Effect.
So I got 3 successes.
3 successes.
Yes.
All right. Oh, hey, look at that. The actual roll was influence plus deception, so it works out. So this is the hospital rooms portion. So just to describe it, anybody trying to get in, it's going to be a hard sell. Like just because it's police guarded and whatnot. They're under strict orders not to allow anyone in, except for the doctor. But obviously you can use power. Okay, so once inside the room, which room did you go to? Did you go to?
I went to the woman's room.
Okay, so you went to the woman's room.
And
okay.
Did I get in?
Yes, with a 3. Hold on, let me see here. Oh, actually, yes. So I'm gonna say yes, you do.
Okay.
You do get in. They were convinced in the moment, and you probably don't have long before something else happens, but they were convinced in the moment and they let you in because you were that convincing.
Okay, so I want to look at my what's it called? My truth. So the truth is the goddess sees who you truly are. So I'm going to spend 1 fragment to sense the presence of divine power in the area, see ghosts and spirits, and see the true faces of outsiders who take other guises.
Love it.
So look at this woman, because I already know the guy is a god.
Yes, and and she's also a god. When you approach her bed, you can tell that her spark is weak, so she might be dying or something to that effect. Let me see. When you look at her with those eyes, because they essentially, when you use that on another god, they become kind of the embodiment of whatever their dominion is.
Beautiful.
So let me see. I have to look up what she is the goddess of again, because of course I forgot.
While this is happening, I'm gonna take my phone out. I'm gonna snap a picture of her so we know what she looks like.
Okay, you can definitely do that.
Cool.
Did I just seriously not write this correctly? Why don't I have what there? She's the god of something. She is the god of something. What is she the god of? Because I need to know. I thought I had it really nicely written here, and apparently it's not. So you sense that she is divine, definitely.
Make it up.
But it's something, and it's important to the thing.
It's important to the story.
It's important to the thing. Yeah, that's it's
the goddess of forgetfulness.
I'm gonna say that for now. I'm gonna say that you definitely sense what she is the god of, and you will obviously know what it is when I get to that part of the thing. All right, so you're inside and you look at her. You can obviously read the patient charts and whatnot. You obviously don't recognize the patients. You don't know them. They're not from town. They are not from around here.
Can I check her pockets?
She's in a gown, so she doesn't have any pockets. Her possessions and stuff have all been taken. You also do notice that she is handcuffed to the bed because they are treating her like a suspect, just in case. She does look like she is having a terrifying nightmare, and she's kind of murmuring under her breath about spiders.
Okay, so then what I want to do is I'm going to then just transform into a raven, because I can just do that. And I'm going to hide under the bed and listen for whatever anyone else comes in or anything else that kind of happens, and wait.
Sounds good. That sounds really good. All right, Erica, let's make your roll here. So it's going to be a stealth and speed roll for you to slip into the nurse's chair without them seeing to access the computer. And then it will be a separate roll to see if you get any information.
Okay.
Because you're under the gun. You got to go.
So 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay, cool. Now make a stealth and tech roll.
I'll be right
Is that a
back.
good roll for you? Let me look at your character.
Yes. And then with my love's computer's blessing, I get to add 1.
You do get to add 1 for that, yes. It's the thing I gave to temp workers. They're just good at figuring out new systems. Like that's their thing.
This is the saddest roll ever. I got 2 out of 7.
2 is what
successes.
you, let me see. I don't know why, but my acrobat is like freezing on me. That's very annoying. I'm gonna optimize my memory real quick. Okay, cool. So
I keep
Okay.
wanting the luck point. Like to D&D luck point.
D&D luck point, exactly. Well, that's what
Reroll
fragments
this.
essentially are. You know, they're
That's
like,
true.
you're like,
Yeah.
bam, I did that. So essentially, there are 3 pieces of information that you can garner from the computer.
Okay.
And I can give you 2 of them for the success that you just did. If you had rolled 5 successes, you would get all 3. So I will ask you, do you want fact number 1, number 2, or number 3? Or do you want to do something in order to get 3 more successes?
Oh, I will
To get
do
all 3.
something. What can I do?
You can spend
Sorry,
free time. Free time will get you 2
fireworks.
dice. You can get Pantheon dice because you do have 6 Pantheon dice, right? 6 Pantheon dice. Or you can spend a fragment and that gets you successes.
So do you guys mind if I use a Pantheon dice?
You need 3 more successes, right? On top of what you already have.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be worth it to just do a fragment then? To make sure you get an automatic 3? Because if you only take 1 Pantheon dice, the most you can get is 2.
My Pantheon dice count as 2.
Well, once per
If-
game, you
if
can
I-
do that.
Yeah, if I have a stroke of genius.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe a fragment would be better.
Okay.
Than,
So you're gonna spin the
Yeah.
fragment. All right,
Yeah.
cool. So that means you get all 3 pieces of information. So let me tell you what those pieces of information are. The couple are Matt and Rebecca Fowler, married in Holbrook, Arizona. Matt is an organ donor, while Rebecca has a medical bracelet for her diabetes. That is the first piece of information. Because you're getting this from the medical record, so you know. You're not going to
Right.
get like their godhood or anything. Their conditions, second piece of information, their conditions are stable, but they are under heavy sedation to help lower their heart rates, which were at dangerous levels despite them being asleep already and unconscious when they got there. So that's the second one. The third one is that Rebecca's arm shows signs of drug use, though there were no drugs in her system when she arrived. The chart calls for a number of blood tests to see how they may interact with her diabetes.
Okay.
Essentially, you also find an additional note in the system that says Matt's the man. Matt's wounded, that talks about Matt's wounded arm, while at first glance appears that there is a bullet wound. There are also no traces of bullet fragments. So there you go. So that is what you get from there. And you're Raven hanging out under the bed at the moment. And something will happen, but I want to see what the others want to do first. All right, so Wade and Gabriel. The other 2 things that have not been explored is talking to the nurses and eavesdropping on police, if we wanted to hit those things.
I mean, I'm already set up to just listen to what the police are chatting about, so
Kinda.
I'll tackle that.
All right, so eavesdropping on the police. Now it says here it would be a perform plus stealth roll, because you basically would be like, I'm just around and there's no reason to be concerned. But in this case, I'm gonna change it to perception and stealth.
Okay.
Because now you're not pretending to be in the area. Now you're in the area, but you have to like, how easy am I listening to this? Which is good that Haley's not trying to do this one. She'd be like, huh? What'd you say?
So perception and stealth?
Perception, stealth, and you need 2 successes.
Okay.
Or 5 if you want all of the information, obviously.
Good thing I only have 3 dice to get 5.
There's ways to do it. This game is very liberal with its bonus dice.
And also blessings, are those one-time uses?
Oh no, blessings you can do as much as you want.
Okay, so I got a 10.
Nice.
And then 2 failures. So can I use face compliance twice?
You can use fate's compliance twice. That would deal you 2 damage to re-roll those 2 dice,
Okay.
or Pantheon dice, or or free time. You don't have any of that,
Yeah.
or fragments. So those
Busy
are your
guy.
options.
I will take 2 damage.
Okay,
I'll do 1 to my psych, 1 to my health.
there you
I'll
go.
re-roll these. They failed both again.
Oh no,
So I have 2 successes.
fate sucks.
Yeah, it does. How many Pantheon dice do we have?
6
Gang?
at the moment.
6. Can I steal one?
Yeah, go
What
for
do you
it.
think, gang?
Go for it.
All right.
Caw.
I used it poorly. I got a failure. It's not my night.
It sounds like it might not be.
Yeah.
Don't trust you with our resources.
Uh,
I'll invest them into Bitcoin and it'll tank.
yes. Right it to the moon.
All right. So do you want to spend a fragment, or are we just going to leave it at the 2 successes?
Sure. You know what? Yeah, I'll spend the fragment. I'll have 1 left.
Okay. Sounds good.
Save it for the boss fight.
All right. So the 3 pieces of information that you receive are that the 2 are wanted for arson relating to a bar in Arizona where 3 people died. You kind of just hear them talking about that. The Arizona State Troopers report stated witnesses at the bar said the suspects and their victims seemed to be on friendly terms until an altercation occurred that evening. And then the 3rd piece of standard information, and then there's going to be an extra thing. Witness statements of tonight's events say that the 2 swerved off the road without any apparent cause, exited the vehicle, and started discharging their firearms randomly before turning their firearms on each other. As witnesses ran for cover, there was an isolated blackout followed by continued gunfire, screams, and other signs of battle. There were also reports of buildings in surrounding areas being set ablaze well before the explosion. So there is that. With your amazing roll of 5 successes, you also find out that when Rebecca was first handcuffed to her hospital bed, all metallic objects in the room seemed to levitate for a split second before dropping, but that couldn't have actually happened, right? And that's what I just remembered. Now, yeah, she's the goddess of magnetism. I forgot about that. So there you go. Now I remember. See, that's why I knew I'd hit something that I wrote that would tell me what. Cool. All right, so Gabriel.
I'm gonna talk to the nurses.
And that's actually probably Gabriel's good thing. It's an influence plus empathy roll.
Oh.
Because I'm pretty sure he's good at those.
Yup.
Empathy, definitely.
Yes. Oh no, most definitely. Wait, it was empathy and influence?
And influence, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, you're rolling 4 dice. 4 dice is that's solid. Yeah.
If I roll 2 successes, I got a 10.
Okay. So same thing. So I can give you 2 pieces of information, or if you can get that up to a 5, then I can give you all of the information.
Yeah, I'll use a fragment.
All right, cool. All right, so the information you get, same information. The man and woman are Matt and Rebecca Fowler. It seems that they were in some kind of trouble with the law in Arizona, because I have to give you different information. The nurses aren't going to know all the details. There was something that went down in Arizona, hence the police presence, and they're suspects in the explosion. Oh my God. And that their conditions are stable, but they are still unconscious. The extra thing that you get though for your boost is that Matt has been murmuring in his sleep about demons. Rebecca's been murmuring in her sleep about spiders. This occurs regardless of how much sedatives they've been given. So it's kind of crazy. Like, you would think that after a certain bit, your involuntary body, you'd stop, but it doesn't matter what they give them. they're just like, no, no spiders, no, and the guy talking about demons. So that's what you get from the nurses. So, yeah. So let me say,
I have a quick question.
go for it.
Where is Eastview? Is it in Arizona? Is it near Arizona?
No, I'm gonna say it was out of state.
Okay.
It's not in Arizona. Whatever the next, I'm gonna say it's Nevada, since I learned
Okay.
recently that Nevada is right next there. So
And it works. She's at a casino, so
true. Oh, see, that works even better. Okay, so now you guys have kind of all done that. I'm gonna say that you guys accumulate your information. You all get together and
group
you're
chat.
like, "Ooh, this and that and whatever. And as you are like trading information, trying to figure out your next move, the lights flicker on and off for a few moments. Right before you hear a woman's piercing scream. And of course, this is interesting because it's coming from Rebecca's room. And normally I would be like, Haley, you have to roll something. But guess what? You can't hear that. You're so deaf. So it's not going to deal any additional damage to you. So that's awesome. It just worked out perfectly.
Look,
You know
Haley
what?
is smart this way.
did
Haley's
you
smart.
unraven, or are you still in the room when the scream happens?
I'm Raven under her bed.
Been under the
Nice.
bed what's happening. Literally, you can't write that into like that just all happened. It just worked out. I love that when stuff like that happens. At the climax of her scream, so you're in the room. I mean, you obviously know that there's a scream. It's just not going to do any additional damage because you already got the damage. At the climax of her scream, all the lights blow out with a loud pop as glass falls from the to the floor and the hospital's plunged into utter darkness. Go ahead, Erica.
Oh, I'm as this is all happening, as that plunge, Mina starts probably shaking a little bit
Oh no.
as she realizes her deepest fears
Yes.
of the absence of light.
Okay. All right. So yeah, like the lights go out and Mina's just like and she basically just starts like probably who's like standing next to her, probably Haley, like just grabs onto Haley's arm and is like, oh no, Haley's under the bed, grabs onto like Wade's arm, just like like she is completely scared of the dark, which is kind of crazy. Emergency lights slowly illuminate, but even they flicker as if struggling to stay lit. In this moment, the gods feel something slink past them, but they see nothing in the poorly lit waiting area. Everyone must make a discipline plus empathy roll, except for Mina. This is versus fear, so if you have any bonuses against fear or anything, let me know.
So it's just a discipline?
Discipline and empathy.
2 successes.
2, okay. Wait, that was 2 for who?
Me.
That was 2
Hello.
for, okay. Got it.
I'm gonna use my blessing, the show must go on, to get 1+1 to empathy.
What does that one do? Let me see.
I have to manipulate my own emotions, give a convincing performance, even if it's to a crowd of 1. And I'm telling myself I'm not afraid. Because literally I have 0 in discipline and 0 in empathy. So if I don't do something, I have 0 to roll.
Let's do it. So if you have no dice, you roll 1 die and it's only successful on a 10. That's how that works. But in this case, I'm going to give it to you. Roll 1 die. So, and it'll be successful normally.
Ooh, 1 success.
Nice. All right. Well then, so Gabriel was the only one who got, you got 1 success.
I got.
Oh, you got 4 successes. Maybe I must have misheard you.
Yeah.
I thought you said 1, but okay, cool. Very cool. Well, then everybody made their checks there, so that's good. That's good. Let me see. Where am I? Yes. Or if you hadn't made it, you would have been overcome with by a haunting, scary presence.
Is this the same presence that Gabriel and Mina felt earlier?
Yes. Exactly the same presence.
Would
Everyone
I
there before is now here as well.
Would I be able to spend another fragment to sense the goddess sees who you truly are. So sense the presence of divine power in the area, see ghosts or spirits, and see the true faces of outsiders who take other guises.
Yes, that's that's active for the whole rest of the scene. So it's on. You don't have to spin it again. It's there. Yeah. So that thing is not in the room. So as soon as it is in the room, I will definitely tell you that you see it because you have that. We haven't gotten there. But we're almost there. So it was chaos in the hospital before, but now it's complete pandemonium with crowds screaming, running around, tripping over objects in the dark. Whatever knocked the lights out also fried all of the machines on this floor. Dr. Jones, who is the actual attending doctor, attending physician, excuse me, and the police officers, they essentially run towards Rebecca's room, which is where the scream is coming from. And there is another loud, shrill scream. And they run inside and the door closes behind them. You being the bird, you're seeing like a bunch of feet there. And then you hear her scream again. You hear some gunfire and then you see just blood just falling on the ground. And then their bodies fall limp from under the bed. So obviously everybody outside of the room is hearing all the gunshots and stuff from inside the room. You just so happen to be there. For a split second, the area gets eerily quiet right before the screaming starts again. This time, those screams belong to the officers and the sounds of breaking glass. I love it. The door opens and Dr. Jones is the only one who's running out of Rebecca's room, covered in blood that does not appear to be his own blood. So he trips over something in the dark trying to just get away. Though now the door is open, the gods now see that all of the windows in that room and pretty much all the glass everywhere is all shattered. The officers, now for some reason, all you can see is their blood. They are nowhere to be seen anymore. Same with you, like they just like disintegrated, Haley. So yeah. And then all of a sudden you, Haley, from underneath the bed, obviously, you see a pair of naked feet land on the floor and Rebecca starts running out of the room. She flees her room and obviously running towards the other three of you. She is wide-eyed and panicked. She is clawing at her arms to the point of drawing blood, and she is pulling at her own hair. Get them off me, get them off me, she screams. Let me see. And then she runs and she sees Dr. Jones and she says, "You did this to me." And she screams again and another like wave of energy comes from her. If anybody kind of gets the idea, it's an EMP, like she's the goddess of magnetism. So she's kind of letting off EMPs at this point. It knocks out anything that might have been active is now gone. Her hysteria has pushed her beyond reason, locked in a state of perpetual fear. So there's no way to snap her out of it. But do you want to try and snap her out of what's happening? You can actually try. It's interesting. There's a rule here, even though it says it's impossible, but if you want to try. So she's running out of the room. She is not of her mind right now.
Yeah, I'll try to snap her out of it.
Okay. It's an influence and medicine roll.
Okay.
It's difficulty 3. Excuse me. I should tell you up front. It's difficulty 3.
Oh. Well, I got 1 success.
Hey, that's 1.
I got 1.
So here's the thing. What do you have? You have influence in medicine. What are your scores in that?
I have 2 influence, 1 medicine.
Okay. Does anybody have more than 1 medicine? No? Okay. That's how teamwork works in this game, is essentially you're like, well, I'll take one of the skills and somebody else can take one of the other skills. And that's how you can combine your stuff.
I mean, could I do that with Gabriel, but do it for influence? Because I have more influence.
Oh, we can say that you are no longer a raven. Like you'd have to get from under the bed and actually assist.
And I can transform at will.
Yeah, you can totally do that. Yeah.
Okay, so I should, I guess, just roll my influence.
So yeah, you roll your influence and re-roll your medicine. I guess
Okay.
it's one die
And-
for you.
And I'm gonna look at her and just say stop because I'm trying to intimidate her. So now I get a +1 to my influence, and I have 4.
A +1, yes. Most things that Haley does is intimidation. So
Good. Oh, hell yeah! I got 4.
4 successes, nice.
I got one.
And you got 1. That's 5. Oh,
No, we needed more.
you need guys. If you can get 1 more, there's a little extra thing that would be helpful.
Pantheon pool.
Yeah, Pantheon pool.
Okay, how much you taking?
Do you want to just do one?
Yeah, because I guess we can keep
Yeah.
one out, and one out, one out.
All right,
Yeah.
so 1. All right, roll it.
Do you want to do it?
I'll go for it, I guess. Oh, that's a 1.
Okay.
No, well, the fail, I guess.
Yeah. So I took 1 because I think you're just gonna keep rolling until you get it. You said.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Someone else, you should roll for this next one.
Okay. Okay, I got an 8. I got a success.
All right. You only spent a few. That's fine. So essentially, with a success, because she's basically about to kill Dr. Jones. But with a success, she takes her attention off of the doctor and instead focuses her anger towards you, and she comes and attacks you guys. With the boost, however, she's at a negative to her initiative for the first round. So you guys will be able to usually act first. So now we're going to roll for initiative. How you roll for initiative is you roll 1d10 and add your initiative modifier on your sheet to it.
13.
13.
13 as well.
Whoa! What is up with that?
And a
13.
9.
13,
5.
9. So it was a 5 for Gabriel. Okay. And a 9 here. Let me roll for Rebecca. Let's see. Page 233 for stats for her.
While you're looking that up, can I ask a question?
You most certainly can.
If you know it off the top of your head, what's the afraid condition?
Afraid condition is, I don't know it right off the top of my head, but I can look at it real quick because I do believe that's actually in the packet that I sent. I think afraid is one of them. Yeah. So the character's fight or flight instinct kicks in. You have to make a discipline and empathy check against fear at the beginning of each round. If you fail, you lose your turn. So there you go.
How long are rounds? Are they 6 seconds like in D&D, or are they?
They're varying. It's just until everybody's gone.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just because sometimes it's like I summon the forces of the blood. It's like, yeah, that's probably longer than 6 seconds, but you know.
So then, well, I guess I'll wait until initiative starts to do anything.
So let me. I have to get hers real quick. So she is a new god. So she's actually pretty not powerful. Weak is the word I was thinking of. So she's going on a 9. So she's going to be going at the same time as Wade. And I think you're just fighting her. I don't think that you're fighting anybody else. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so she does I'm gonna say immediately you can already tell because she's kind of surrounded with this weird kind of, well, except for Haley can see it, but like this kind of force field of magnetism. You see like bits of things that are made of metal falling off of the ceiling and landing near her, but they immediately get shoved off. Meaning you can't throw anything metal at her or try and hit her with anything metal. So if you have a gun, bullets aren't going to work. You can't throw a knife at her. If you're wearing it even says here, if you are wearing a belt buckle that is made of actual metal, you won't be able to get near her. Like it's just anything metal will not get there.
What is my Ring of the North Wind made out of?
Uptamium.
Metal.
It's made of uptamium.
Okay.
Unobtainium. No, it's fine. You're fine with that. But also
Okay.
that ring allows you to attack from a distance anyway, so it's fine. Like you're not trying to go up and punch her with the ring. You know, the
Okay.
ring is more for distance things.
Aura.
Exactly. All right. So, oh, actually, she doesn't go at a 9. I forgot to give her -3. She's actually going to go on a 6. I forgot. So there you go. Still before Gabriel, but not at the same time as Wade. It'll be after Wade. All right, cool. So it is, well, Haley and Mina are both going at the same. So the two of you can decide who wants to go first.
How does attacking work in this?
So you describe how you want to attack, and then we will assign skills to that. And then it works just like everything else.
Okay. And I have a question about my vassal. So I have Angel, my pet raven, who I'm assuming has kind of just been around the entire time.
Like I said, vassals are there if you say that they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question is, so it says damage for bonus equal to level or favor, or it has 2 dice per level to act on its own.
Correct.
So if I have it act on its own, does that mean I have to cash in one of the bonds?
Yeah,
No?
you would strain that relationship.
Okay.
And then, well, you'd have to strain the relationship either way. Like then you would choose how you want it to act. Is it adding to yours or is it acting on its own? Yeah.
Okay.
Did you want to do that?
I was just asking to understand slightly. I'm thinking.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Well, then I can go.
Go for it.
Sure. Okay, so I'm gonna pull out my shining sword made of light,
Where are these items?
right?
He does
Blinding
light
light.
saber
Yeah.
eyes, yes.
And I guess I don't know.
Chop her head off.
Yeah, I mean,
I will point out you cannot knock her out with your sword of light. That sword of light will kill her if you land a good enough shot. So
well, so
with
so
that, it's a lightsaber, you know.
that is awesome. So like, but do okay, can I holler out as I'm walking toward her? Are we killing her?
Yeah. How do we feel about other gods?
Yeah, that maybe
here's the
is a
thing.
better
So-
question.
A god killing another god is kind of, it's a thing you're not supposed to do. There are reasons for it. I guess if you kill a god, we'll find out what those reasons are. But I will say that none of you have ever killed a god, so you don't know firsthand, but you have heard bad stories about what happens when a god kills another god. But you know, I love using mechanics that don't come up all the time. So
Well, I'm thinking we've got 15 minutes left, and that sounds like fun. So can we just go ahead and do that?
let's do it then. Let's make that
Okay.
She
happen.
can't scream if she doesn't have a head.
That's true. Okay, so we're gonna lightsaber this
Do some
screaming lady.
lightsabering.
Yes.
So that means essentially using your sword would usually be a fighting plus speed roll, you know, because you're like, and you're gonna run in there and slice. So whatever you're fighting plus your speed is, you can add your +2 because you're using your sword for that,
Okay.
which is a thing. Just so I don't know if everybody read everybody's backgrounds, but Mina became the goddess of light because the old goddess of light said, "I'm done being the god of light. Do you want to be the god of light?" She's like, "I guess so." And he says, "Here, take this sword." And then she was. So it's fun how stuff happens in this game.
Okay, so I got 2 successes, but then I also get a +2
Correct.
on a hit. So
Well, no, +2 is 2 more dice. Oh no, yeah,
Oh.
you deal +2 damage. So you got 2 successes and you'll deal
Yeah.
+2 damage.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to do anything to augment that? She has because I'll just out there, she has 10.
I
So
will fragment.
Okay, so if you fragment, that'll get you 3 more.
Do you want to dip into the pool?
You could dip
So
into
how
the
many-
pool, and if you dip into the pool, then you can use Stroke of Genius, which would be pretty cool. If you use Stroke of Genius and pull those last 3 dice, then you're actually pulling 6 dice.
Shall I just do that and see if I can whack this lady's head off? Okay. So yes,
This
I
will
am
not be the first
stroke-
time Mina one hits a bad guy in an adventure. So Tony was here for the last time that this happened.
So 4 more.
4 more. Is that
Yes.
9? I think that's 9.
Well, so
Wait,
2, 3, 4, 5,
4.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Oh, so it was 11. Okay, good. Well, then, yeah, then she's toast then. Like, that's just, it was over. And since you weren't attacking with anything metal, you're attacking with a sword made of light. It wasn't stopped by her shield. So, yeah. Okay. Well, then, that killed her. Let me go to killing other gods part of this book here. This is not necessarily something that pops up all the time, but I love it. Where's that in
I
the book
look at
here?
Mina and say, I'm glad it was you and not me. Good luck.
And you're right, we actually do only have 15 minutes left. So we can go through all of the crazy like things that can happen now. And there is more to this adventure. This is an adventure that's in the book called Mythic Echoes for this game line. So if you want like the synopsis of what would happen at the end of this, then I can kind of tell you like this is what was going on. Or you know, you can check it out yourself. I don't want to ruin anything if you want it to be a surprise. Where am I going here? Here we are. Okay. Killing other gods. Fragments, spark, losing spark. God versus God. Here we are. Okay. Okay, so in the event that a god inflicts the final damage that would kill another god, the GM creates a backlash equal to the dead god's total health / psyche. So that would be 10. Times their spark rating. She only had a spark of 1, so it's just going to be 10. It's not going to be anything crazy. So for instance, killing a spark 3 god who had health 5 and psyche 5, that would be 10, but if they were spark 3, it would be 30. So the way that and it's a backlash effect. So whenever you're using manifestations, you're like, I'm going to summon something or something. Anytime you fail that roll, then I create a backlash based on what you were trying to do, but this really bad thing happens instead. In this case, because she's the goddess of magnetism, I would take those 10 points and I would use them for damage or whatever that I would want in the moment. So I'm going to say, that this, I'm going to say that anything that you guys might have technological, and actually everything in this hospital, those machines will never work again. I'm going to say the hospital is actually magnetized.
cell phone.
Nothing made of metal will be able to enter this hospital for at least a week. And essentially anybody who has pacemakers or any, like, tons of people are dead in this hospital right now because of this. It really sucks because just the magnetism is just destroying everybody's like flown backwards, hits walls and all that stuff. It's really, really bad. So yeah, so there that only happens too, by the way, if a god actively kills another god. Like if you took her down to 9 and then you sent like Calic or Angel in to deal the final thing, it wouldn't happen. But since you dealt it, that's what happens. So really, really bad things. That means that technically, like, Haley's phone is fried, but good thing you already uploaded that stuff to the internet.
It's
Some kid's
enchanted.
braces just jump out of his mouth.
It's fine. It's safe.
Now, of course, the next part of that is she is dead and her soul is kind of floating there.
Get it?
So you have the option of devouring that soul.
Yeah.
So how many of you are trying to devour this soul? Because it is still just one.
Is this like
soul.
the thing we do to level up?
It's like
No,
Magneto.
you just level up by playing and earning
Light and
experience.
magnetism together.
Like,
So what
Magneto's
happens when we
awesome.
eat the soul? Do we know, or is it a mystery to us?
If you eat the soul, you will have the good effect of essentially you'll pick up a new dominion. It might be magnetism, If one person eats it, it will be magnetism, because that's what she was the god of. If multiple of you try to devour the same soul, it will end up fragmenting into different things. So one might be the god. One might get like force, one might get metal, the other one might get, shininess. Like, who knows? Like, it depends, all the different aspects of metal, or magnetism itself, essentially. So who wants to eat it? You don't have to. Bad stuff happens too when you eat it, by the way. So just, you don't care, it's a one shot, but I'm just letting you know for future reference, if you eat another god's soul, bad stuff also happens.
Do you think Cynthia would want me to eat it?
Cynthia, oh, that's a good question. I think honestly, Cynthia might want you to not, because essentially that would be corrupting the spark that you're carrying.
Okay.
So, but also, you don't take Cynthia's orders.
Fair enough.
You don't take orders from Cynthia.
Should we share it? Like, you get a leg, you get a leg.
Well, before that, I can communicate with the spirit.
Oh, her spirit's done. Her spirit's toast. This is just
okay.
her floating
Just her
soul. This is
soul.
the spark you can collect. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, then just eat it.
Okay.
We all
Oh,
share.
just to eat it. I love it when this happens.
Actually, I'm not. See, now I don't think Mina would,
Okay.
because she's kind of feeling awful about all of the people she just killed, and her like love of mortals and humanity, and she just kind of decimated a whole lot of people. Getting
We'll
rid of
save
this.
that part that you didn't eat for her unconscious husband.
So
The least we can do.
well, and honestly, this is a big part about why pantheons are so important, because there are gods who just love devouring other gods. And that's why, like, so like the four of you are like, so if another god tries to come and kill me, you're gonna help, right? Like, we're gonna defend each other, right? Yeah, we're a pantheon, we're good. All right, cool. So if the three of you eat the soul, let's see what happens. The benefits when that happens. So first off, your lifespan is extended by 20 years. As a god, you can live for 100 years with your spark after you receive it. And eating other gods' souls nets you an additional 20. So that's why there are like really old gods who like they continue existing because they eat other gods. So the other thing is that you each will gain a new dominion. So I'm going to say each of you roll. I actually have the one that rolls the highest, just one die. The three of you roll one die.
Got a 7.
7.
1.
1. 3. All right, so 7, you're going to get the dominion of metal. 3,
Cold and metal.
cold and metal, which actually kind of works, right? You'd be hell against like fairies and stuff, which do exist in this game as well. The 3 will get you, you will get the dominion of negative magnetism. So being able to shove things away. The 1 will get you positive magnetism. Being able to draw them closer to you. So yeah, so there you go. Each of you got that. Now at Spark 1, which is what all these characters are, they're all starting characters, you can have a maximum of 2 dominions. So if you guys killed another god now at this point, you couldn't pick up another one. Your spark is not strong enough to hold another dominion at this moment. You'd have to raise up to Spark 2, then you could try to collect more. Or you don't have to steal them from other people. You can just spontaneously, get them. The side effects, however, are very bad. Some gods have survived for centuries by devouring other gods, often driven to the brink of madness, however, since eating the essence of another and mingling it with your own soul has terrible side effects. When this occurs, the GM selects a side effect from the table below that permanently afflicts the character. Some options are worse than others, but the choice should fit the story and circumstances of the devouring. If the GM and player can come up with a new horrifying side effect, use that one instead. All right, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 here. I'm just gonna have you guys roll randomly again. Each of you roll. If it's not 1 through 7, roll it again.
4.
I got the 1.
So you got 1, 4 for Wade. Oh no, it was 4 for Gabriel.
Yeah, Gabriel.
And Wade?
I got a 1.
You got a 1. So 2 1s and a 4. All right. So the ones are the god's mind is flayed as they accept a new soul into their own. This brings them closer to madness. They take a number of failing levels equal to the dead god's spark. So that would be 1 because it was only a spark 1 god. And what I will say, let me see, which failing are you going to get? It sounds like Haley definitely jumped really fast at that. So I'm gonna give you the failing of power. I'm gonna give you the failing of power. And that is, so you would add that to the one that you already have of hatred. So now you have 2 failings. And what that means is, you have to permanently lose either 1 free time or 1 wealth. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I mumbled to myself a lot.
It's okay.
I'm saying I'm not actually speaking to you.
Yeah.
I will lose wealth.
That puts you at a 4-4, so it kind of puts you in the middle.
Yeah.
So essentially the idea is that you lose control, you're kind of losing control, and all you want is power. You want to have more mortals at your command, more territory under your belt. It also makes you manipulative. So you become obsessed. So that means that you're devoting some free time and wealth, like permanently, to the acquisition of power. So you have less free time, less wealth to deal with. It does reduce the XP cost for new group or landmark bonds, worshippers, and vassals by 1. So there's a good thing and a bad thing to everything. So this is a bad thing, but it's technically also a good thing. It makes it easier to acquire power. So isn't that great? All right. So you also got a bad one. So I'm gonna give you 1 since you rolled the highest. I'm gonna say yours is closest to Rebecca's mind state of mind in the moment, and I'm gonna give you 1 level of the failing self-destruction. And this is, let me see. So basically you now are a little bit masochistic. You've kind of developed a little bit of a death wish. You might start picking stronger foes and putting yourself in obvious danger. So essentially, let me see. Whenever you would take 5 damage from an attack, that damage is raised by 2. So because you're just kind of jumping. So if you're going to take a bunch of damage, you're going to take more damage. So yeah, and obviously right now it's at 5, but the more self-destructive you are, then it might reduce it to be like anytime you take damage, you're taking more damage. So right now you're only a little bit self-destructive, only when it's an obvious thing that's going to hurt you. Okay, cool. And then the who was it that rolled a 4? It was for Gabriel, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what happens to Gabriel now? Now I'm curious. What's the 4?
It's a terrible rash.
Those are already really bad, honestly.
Yeah.
Those were pretty bad, and those are like not that bad mechanically. It's just like you wrote a word and a 1 next to it, but geez. Where I lost it. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Okay, I found it. Wait, no, I didn't. It's right there. Okay. So 4 though is 1, 2, 3, 4. So you, Gabriel, this actually kind of fits for the artist and whatnot. The god starts to lose time occasionally, waking up in weird places and not remembering where they are. It is a strange type of sleepwalking, as the devoured spirit is fighting for control but can't truly achieve it. However, the character literally loses time, suffering a permanent free time loss dependent on the god's spark that you just ate. So since it was just a spark 1, you're going to permanently lose 1 free time. So yeah, there you go. So but now narratively, we can just randomly have you wake up in weird places because it's fun. So
Nice.
so yeah, that's what happens. And then that's like halfway through the adventure. There's actually a bunch more, but that it's 11, so we'll stop there. But yeah, that's a part-time gods. That's half of an adventure that's in the second book, Mythic Echoes. That is out. Actually, the power surge is, that's scene 3 out of 5. 3 out of 6. So we were about halfway through the 3rd scene. So we were almost halfway. Well, actually, yeah. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. You guys were a
Yeah,
good
no,
group.
this was a lot of fun.
Do you have any questions about the game or the mechanics or anything that I can answer while you still kind of have me here?
No, it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, no, yeah, it seemed a little bit like complex kind of at the start, but like after you get rolling, it gets
Yeah.
smoother.
Yeah.
I tell Tony all the time, that's how I design my games. Everything, there's usually so many moving parts, but they all just work exactly the same. So it's like, well, how does this work? Well, it works the same way that worked and the same way this worked. So we'd never actually got to the zero scene because this was the next scene that we were going to move into. Then Wade was going to be at zero. The way the free time works is it is literally that if you are at zero free time, I say, cool, what are you going to do in the next scene? And you go, oh, well, I'm going to chase the monster out of the thing. And I'm going to say, oh, well, you're at zero free time. So Wade, you're getting a call from the server farm and there's hackers that are hacking into it. What
My
are you gonna do
Bitcoin.
about that? What's that?
Oh, my Bitcoin.
Exactly. No, your Bitcoin. So then essentially in that moment would be a choice for you to be like, well, do you guys like go on ahead? I'll meet up with you. And then you try and deal with the hackers in the moment, or do you just let that go, which would obviously further strain that bond. And essentially every time you hit zero free time, you're dealing with that over and over and over again of the things that are important to your life needing to actually be important to your life in the moment. I remember there was a session that I ran where like it was so funny because it was everybody but one player was down to zero. And I was just like, what are you guys gonna do? Well, we have to go and interview this guy. We have to go interrogate him and get the information. And then one person was just like, no, I have to go deal over here. One other person, I gotta go deal over here. And it left like one character who had the free time to go and do it. And they were the worst equipped for it. And everything went to hell. And it was hilarious. But sometimes that happens because if he hadn't gone in the moment, then the guy would have skipped town and then you wouldn't have had the opportunity. So you can just refuse to even deal with it, and then it strains the relationship. So Wade is rich, so there is like you can kind of delay having to deal with it, usually with money. So a lot of the time, whoever's playing Wade can do that because it's like it usually costs like 2 or 3. Like you just be like, nah, I'm gonna deal with that in a couple of scenes. I'm good. But yeah, that's kind of like we didn't even get to it, and that's kind of like the bedrock kind of fun mechanic with this game. And free time and wealth do not reset between sessions. So if you end the session, everybody could be at zero and in the middle of a giant fight, and then at the start of the next session be like, all right, what are you guys doing? Well, we're gonna go after monster. Well, you guys have some stuff to deal with first, which is, I don't know, it's a lot of fun. And the way you make your characters too is you'll notice on your character sheets, you'll have, there's 4 major choices that you make. There's occupation and archetype. Basically, what do you do for a living and what's your personality? Those things are kind of reflective of your mortal side. And then the other 2 are your dominion, which is what you're the god of, and where that category kind of falls. And then your theology, which is how you interpret your godhood. So like the Phoenix Society, for instance, for Mina, I know you were picking up on she's kind of addicted to interacting with humans and stuff. And that whole thing is essentially they kind of revel in more mortal life and stuff, and they try to find heroes and elevate them to greatness and stuff. Like they're fun. But like that's the bad thing is like they really crave that. And the bad thing about Mina is like if there's a scene where she does not interact with a person, she actually starts to essentially she takes on a deprived condition, which is like interacting with people is the same as eating and drinking to her. Like she starts to feel like suffocating if she can't interact with people. So it's a cool one. Tony is one of the other ones where she's a member of the Drifting Kingdoms. They're all about moving around a lot of the time. So if she starts a scene in the same location that she ended the previous scene, then she starts to get all like kind of stir crazy and stuff because she's all about moving around. So it's a fun game. There's a lot of fun little mechanics that I have kind of floating around in this game. But But yeah, I could ramble forever, and Tony knows this, so I'm going to stop. If you guys don't have any questions, then I will bid you adieu. Hit me up on Discord, privately or in the group or whatever. If you do find any questions, all of these are available on DriveThru in PDF and print. I believe it's on print there as well. So the core book has a lot in it. So I know some people like to splurge. I would say pick up the core book, and if you really are digging it, then you can pick up I think there's 3 other books, maybe 2 or 3 other books. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I'm working on like 2 more right now. So, it's crazy stuff. So yes, you guys were a wonderful group though. I actually think this was my favorite group so far, Tony. Don't tell any of the other groups that. So, but I really do. Everybody was engaged here. Everybody seemed to be having a good time. And I always like that as a GM. It makes me have a good time as well. So I appreciate you guys coming and playing with me.
Oh yeah, I
you.
like
Thank
the
you.
game.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm waiting for the